Who would win in fights between 10 Ewoks and 1 Wookiee? Wow. I mean, are we talking hand-to-hand combat? What do you like most about working in Vista? Hands down, it's the people I work with. I've had a great time becoming family with several crew members. It's also interesting that I feel more a part of this community than I do of the community I actually live in. I live in a different city, but when you're in your own home, you kind of end up hometown. You kind of stay at home. You go shopping, sure, you know your neighbors, but I'm not involved in community events there. I don't go to parades. I honestly don't know who the city councilman from my district is, but up in Vista, I know all those things. I'm involved with this community. People stop and talk to us. When I was at Station 2, I would walk every day right by the station and people would stop and ask me questions, and I kind of got into a little routine of seeing the same people. So I really do like that Vista in a lot of ways is more of my home. What is your favorite station to work at? It's interesting. I actually have stations that I am not a huge fan of, and that has nothing to do with the calls. It's usually the layout of the station. One of our stations has a small crew and a larger station. It just feels kind of cold to me. And you can almost forget there are other people in the station. But really my favorite station to work at is whatever station I'm with a good crew, which isn't hard to do here. But I left kind of what everybody thinks is the greatest station because we don't run as many calls. You usually get to sleep at night, went to a much busier station. But the crew I'm working with this year are these super young, motivated guys, and I have more energy and I'm having more fun this year than I did at the retirement station. So really it's not about the building or the neighborhood it's in or what kind of calls you're running at, it's about the people you're working with at that station. What's the best part of dressing up as Chewbacca? So apparently, at some point in this, y'all are gonna be made aware of the fact that I have a nearly screen accurate Chewbacca costume that's 7 feet tall that my family and I spent a year and a half making. And it was entirely unexpected. It started out as a family project as we were going to Comic-Con and my son wanted to build an elaborate costume, but we couldn't build one for a 6-year-old who was growing roughly 6 inches a day because he would have outgrown it before he would ever had a chance to wear it. So we decided to make our first expensive custom costume mine. And I would have said that the best part was the building it with my family, which it absolutely was. But then I got into the costume and I had no idea what I was in for. I think a lot of it has to do with the height because people can see you from literally hundreds and hundreds of feet away. So you go out and you get mobbed in the costume, especially if you're at any event that draws, let's say, the popular culture minded. Nerds may not be appropriate anymore, although I self-identify. So we first wore it to Comic-Con, and I did not realize that, I figured a few people would want to get their pictures with me. I didn't realize 200 to 300 people at a time would want to get their picture with me. And it would get so big, they would have to move crowds of people away because we were blocking intersections or blocking entrances at the convention hall. And it's not just the popularity, it's how much people connect with a character that I think was also really cool. I mean, Chewbacca was designed to have the loyalty of a dog. That was their plan when they created the character. And I think that just really resonates with people. So I've, on 1 or 2 occasions, had grown men crying and say, this is the best day of my life, taking a picture with me in a silly costume. Or little kids who are absolutely not sure if I am Chewbacca or some guy in a costume, and they're trying to figure out, am I on stilts and what's going on? And just the ability through, I don't want to say something simple because like I said, it took a year and a half to make it, but the ability for something I'm doing that is essentially walking around in a costume, not doing much, to really just make something that's possibly the highlight of someone's day, or at least something they'll remember and they take a picture of, and it's hilarious. My friends are like, oh, my friend, who I have no idea who they are, took a picture with Chewbacca and I'm pretty sure it's you, and they'll send me the picture from this person I've never met's social media. And so it's just to know that that second was really important to somebody. Maybe not important, or we're not solving hunger or anything, but important in that it made them smile, and hopefully a smile that when they look back at the picture lasts. That's really probably my absolute favorite part. Who would win in fights between 10 Ewoks and 1 Wookiee? Wow. I mean, are we talking hand-to-hand combat? Or do they get to like use their tricks? Because these are the guys that took down armored walkers if you give them a chance. And you know, are they gonna like be able to sit up in the trees and knock a bunch of logs to roll over and crush Chewie? Because he's a little bit more of a brute strength fighter. He doesn't seem to show a lot of finesse, and they seem to have some skill. So, I mean, straight hand-to-hand combat, clearly Chewbacca's gonna win. But I think they might outwit him. What is something that surprises you about the city of Vista? You know, it's funny. In a way, I kind of want to say like everything. So we were talking about this just the other day. Vista is an incredibly diverse city. It's people and their interests, and then a little bit of geography. I mean, you have very rural parts and you have very urban parts. And so a few weeks ago, my firefighter, who I'm pretty sure has not left a place that has pavement and sidewalks, was just astounded, as was I, but he was really astounded. We go on a call and the people had pet emus. And so we're in the house and they had 6 pet emus on a couple acres around their house. And it's like, what other city can you go in that we're like 2 turns off of East Vista Way and there's emus at this house? And you know, they're walking around, and he took pictures with them, and it was really cool. And after the call, we were like, you know, what are emus like? And he's like, they're a lot like a cat. They want your attention when you don't want to give it, and they don't want your attention if you're interested. And then, like 3 or 4 shifts later, we're going on a call in a very, I don't want to say urban area, but a very well-developed, you know, a lot of houses, a little bit bigger lots, but just a standard neighborhood, still in the district portion of Vista, so, you know, the unincorporated area. And we come back and there's this gorgeous gate and there's 2 pigs standing on the other side of this staring at us. And we're like, you got pigs? And they're like, yeah, we do. Like, what are they like? And they're like, they're cool pets. They're pretty smart. They just tear up your garden, so you got to watch them. We got a few pictures of the pigs and stuff like that. So it's like, I've worked in a lot of places, including very rural areas. I was with CAL FIRE for a while, and sometimes, you know, CAL FIRE, you know what you're going to. Here, I just kind of never know what I'm going to find when I turn a corner, and it's a neat thing about Vista that I like.